Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. Let's get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are moving higher this morning, with S&P futures up 0.53%, Dow futures up 0.53%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.49%. Futures climbed off of the excitement of crude oil extending its rally to a 6-week high. Industrial metals are also moving higher, with aluminum reaching $3,000 a ton in London for the first time in 13 years amid supply disruptions. Apple has moved higher in pre-market today, even after Epic Games filed a notice of appeal in its closely watched antitrust lawsuit. Elsewhere in markets, the dollar edged higher and treasury yields have remained mostly unchanged ahead of critical inflation data that will be used by many investors to assess the expectations about the timing of stimulus withdrawal and interest rates. Tomorrow's consumer price data may show that consumer prices in the U.S. moderated in August. Over in Europe, energy equipment led gains as crude oil extended a rally to a 6-week high. Over in Asia, Chinese tech shares fell lower after a report that officials are seeking to break up Ant Group's Alipay. The country's platforms were also told to protect the rights of workers in the so-called gig economy. The MSCI Asia Pacific Index retreated for a third time in 4 trading sessions. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates this morning?
Listen, I'm watching the S&Ps, and they're steadily climbing higher all morning long. I've been watching them since 3 a.m. this morning, and they just continue to tick higher. So I'm pretty excited about this morning. I mean, this is best described as a relief rally. Last week was a down week for equities. You saw the S&Ps drop 1.7% over the week. So now we're starting to get back some of those losses. After the close, you got Oracle and Linear, the home builder. They're scheduled to release earnings. After that, the calendar is pretty light for the week. A couple of things that I'm really concerned about that are coming up. The CPI data that is coming out tomorrow, Thursday's retail sales reports. Negative reports could send this market lower. And, there's other market risks here as well, because, you also see that the Democrats are really pushing for some new taxes. Next week, we have an FOMC meeting. The China crackdown is continuing on the tech firms. There's a OPEC and an IEA oil report that's due out this week, and they're both likely to, lower their forecast for demand for 2022. So I'm still watching the earnings, and I'm really hoping that we're going to have a good, strong day today, Shane.
Let's talk about our earnings to watch. First off, looking at the earnings we see coming in today. Bill, what are we seeing coming in today?
This afternoon we have Mission Produce. That's ticker AVO, Apple Victor Oscar. Their EPS estimate is 29 cents, and their expected move is 6.71%. Now, Oracle's the one that everyone's going to be watching. That's ticker ORCL, Oscar Richard Charlie Larry. Their EPS estimate is 96 cents, and they're set for a move of 5.81%. And then that's followed by Linear, the home builder, ticker LEN, Larry, Edward, Nancy. Their EPS estimate is $3.28, and the expected move here is 6.41%. But that's all I have for earnings coming out this afternoon, Shane.
Moving into our economic reports. Bill, tell us what we're seeing for reports today.
Yeah, the calendar's really light. I don't see any economic reports that are coming out today that could really be considered a market catalyst. Tomorrow, the U.S. inflation, consumer spending is really going to be the report that's going to be in focus. That's the CPI report that's coming out tomorrow morning. And Thursday, we have the retail sales report that's coming out. That's expected to fall for the third straight month. We don't really have any Fed speak this week because of the blackout period that's occurring right now, because we have an FOMC meeting happening next week. But economic reports today, I don't see anything that really can be deemed as a catalyst report today, Shane.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with news on Uber, ticker UBER. The Amsterdam District Court ruled that Uber drivers are employees and non-contractors, hence they deserved greater workers' nights. Uber share price is up 0.98% in pre-market. News on Telefonica, ticker TEF. Telefonica enlisted Goldman Sachs to sell its 50% stake in British mobile mass operator Cornerstone Telecommunications. The stake in Cornerstone, which Telefonica shares with Vodafone, ticker BOD, is estimated at $2.36 billion. Elsewhere on the tape, Baidu, ticker BIDU, will begin public testing of the Apollo Go robotaxi mobile platform in Shanghai. Baidu is the only company to offer this service in the 3 first-tier cities of China. The Shanghai operation will include 150 stations open in phases throughout the city to provide users access to residential areas, commercial areas, offices, and public transportation. Passengers can use the service from 9:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. weekdays. And Baidu's share price is down 0.51% in pre-market. Actually, a little bit higher now, over 0.8% in pre-market. In other news, ADC Therapeutics, ticker ADCT, received orphan drug designation in Europe for its treatment for large B-cell lymphoma. News on Regenx Bio, ticker RGNX. Regenx has entered into a partnership with AbbVie, ticker ABBV, to develop and commercialize a treatment for chronic retinal disease. If successful, Regenx will receive an upfront payment of $370,000. Regenx share price is up 17.08% in pre-market. AbbVie's share price is up 0.82% in pre-market. Here's some acquisition news. Train Technologies, ticker TTA, Climate Innovator, is set to acquire Farrar Scientific for $365 million. Stanley Black and Decker, ticker SWK, will acquire Excel Industries for $375 million. In other news, Viacom CBS, ticker VIAC, is planning to restructure Paramount Pictures as it is looking to split its management of movie and television units at Paramount Pictures. Nickelodeon chief Brian Robbins is slated to head Paramount Pictures, while David Nevins will oversee the TV unit. Viacom's share price is up 0.93% in pre-market. Lastly, for me, news on Carlyle Group, ticker CG. Carlyle Group is exploring the possibility of sale or IPO for South Carolina packaging company Novalex Holdings. Carlyle has sought banks for a strategic review of Novalex, which could be valued at $6 billion. No final decision has been made, and Carlyle stated that it could just keep the business itself. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Well, Shane, I break my news alerts down into specific news alerts. I'm looking for specific sectors. I'm looking for specific events. I follow the oil sector closely. I follow the semiconductors and the FANG stocks. And I follow, events such as buybacks and earnings very closely. I'm looking at my FANG alert this morning. We really have to start off with Apple. That federal judge on Friday, he released his verdict. Now, Apple won 9 out of the 11 counts. Epic Games is set to appeal. The judge's main points was Apple cannot bar developers from providing buttons or links in their apps that direct customers to other ways to pay outside of Apple. And Apple cannot ban developers from communicating with customers via contact information that's being collected. The point here is, how is this ruling going to affect the revenue? Well, according to Morgan Stanley, if Apple lost, the 20 app makers, the 20 top end app makers entirely, it would be a 5% hit on the EPS. That's unlikely because it's already set up. This may be for some new ones, but I don't see that that's happening. I see another broker came out there and said this Apple verdict was really a net benefit for the stock. I know that when it came out, I saw when it came out and the stock just took a hit right away as soon as that verdict hit. Other news stories that are going on in the FANG sector, Amazon, I see that, the brokers are out there saying that the markets are, kind of overvalued. We're seeing a relief rally today, but Goldman came out and put buy recommendations out on Amazon, Facebook, and Google. They upped Amazon's price target to $42.50. They upped Facebook to $455, and they upped Google's price target to $33.50. So that's really a positive for the sector and for the market as a whole today. In other news on Google, the Indian conglomerate Reliance Industries, they're delaying the launch of a low-cost smartphone that it is developing along with Google. The scheduled release date is now in November, and they're citing an industry-wide semiconductor shortage as the reason why they have to delay the shipping of this new phone. Going over to my Dow 30 alert, Cisco. they're going to be meeting with analysts on Wednesday. Now, this is kind of interesting because this is the first meeting that Cisco's going to have with analysts in 4 years. So I'd be interested to see what that happens, what comes out of that event. Disney came out on Friday and they said that the remaining movies that are going to be released in 2021 are going to be exclusively in theaters rather than a direct to video over their Disney Plus app. Intel is said to be offering much more competitive pricing for CPUs due to strong competition from AMD. And Walgreens Booth Alliance, it's ticker WBA, William Boy Apple. It seems that America's COVID testing infrastructure from the drugstores to diagnostic manufacturers they're really bracing for a surge in demand following Biden's administration that orders most of large U.S. companies to mandate their workers get vaccinated or be screened weekly for the virus. In terms of option news, I wanted to check the volatility ahead of some of these investor conferences that are going on. Camping Worldwide, this ticker CWH, Charlie William Henry, the 30-day option implied volatility is at 21 compared to the 52-week range of 16 to 47. Their analyst meeting is going to be on September 14th. Crocs, the shoemakers, ticker CROX, Charlie Richard Oscar X-ray, the 30-day option implied volatility is at 50. The 52-week range is 40 to 76. Their investor day is September 14th as well. And Palo Alto Networks, that's PANW, the 30-day option implied volatility is at 29 compared to the 52-week range of 24 to 50. They're hosting a virtual analyst meeting today. In terms of catalyst buy ideas, I see that KKR, Kilo Richard, Citibank opened up a 90-day positive catalyst watch on the stock today. That's ticker KKR. In terms of shareholders meeting, as I said, Palo Alto Networks, PANW, they're having a shareholders meeting that starts today at 12:30 p.m. And Zoom Video, ticker ZM, Zebra Mary, they're having their annual shareholders meeting that's going to start today at 2 p.m. But that's what I have in terms of morning news announcements for you, Shane.
Well, let's talk about our Trade Talk picks for today. I'm picking Facebook, ticker FB. And this is off of news that Goldman Sachs came out this morning with a buy recommendation on not only Facebook, but also Google and Amazon. But I think that looks best for Facebook because Facebook is at $382.37 right now, whereas Google and Amazon are in the thousands, a little bit less touchable. So Facebook's got a price target of $450, only at $382. Could it run up a few points today? Yes, absolutely. And I think this is positive news for it to do so today. So that's my pick. What's yours looking like, Bill?
Going with Salesforce.com, that's ticker CRM, Charlie Richard Mary. Stock's been beaten up over the last few days, so this relief rally I feel is going to be a benefit in the shares of CRM today. I also noticed that their rival Freshworks, they're looking to go public. They're looking to become a publicly traded company, and they're shooting for a $9 billion valuation. Really? Okay, that's really high, but that's going to benefit Salesforce. So I'm positive on that. So my pick for today is ticker CRM, Charlie Richard Mary, Salesforce.com.
Well, let's talk about what's hot off the press, the news that's hitting the tape as we speak. Let's talk about it. Bill, what are some headlines we should let traders know about?
Apple, JP Morgan is out there saying Apple's iPhone shipments may bring estimate revisions to the upside. Ticker ADP, Apple David Paul. ADP is launching a COVID-19 test result tracker through the ADP Return to Workplace.
Live Nation Entertainment, ticker LYV, has agreed to proceed with its acquisition of 51% control interest of OCESA.
JFrog, that's ticker Frog, FROG. They're acquiring Upswist for an undisclosed term.
Tenable Holdings, ticker TENB, agreed to buy Accurix for a purchase price of $160 million cash.
Dick's Sporting Goods, that's ticker DKS, David Kilo Sam. They're announcing the hiring of 10,000 seasonal associates.
TransUnion, ticker TRU, has agreed to acquire Neustar for $3.1 billion.
Ross Stores, that's ticker ROST, Richard Oscar Sam Tom. They're opening up 2 new stores in Fresno, California.
Here's a stock watch. Global Star, ticker GSAT, has declined to pre-open about 10%. Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing today, Shane.
Same here. So that's what's hot off the press. Traders, if you'd like to up your trading game, check out the stories that we're getting by subscribing at newsware.com and get a free trial. Lastly, moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Friday. I had Apple, ticker AAPL, which opened at $155 and had a downward day, unfortunately. In the market, basically from start to close, ending the day at $148.97 for a 3.89% loss. My second pick, however, DoorDash, ticker DASH, opened at $209 and went to as high as $214.14 just before about 1 p.m. for a 2.45% gain before eventually coming back down to $210.37 at the close. So second pick, not bad. First pick, wish it did better. How'd yours end up doing, Bill?
Listen, about your first pick with Apple, that jury decision is really, an unscheduled event that caused the stock to fall apart. I mean, before that, it was up nicely on the day. I just want to throw that in there. I did Amgen on Friday with my pick. Stock opened up at $216.50. And it was on track. Everything was going good. It started running higher. It traded up to the $217 level. And then the market risk was just too great. It got too much pressure. And as I said, you got to be willing to sell this thing when there's some profits there, because there was market risk on Friday that we all knew about. And the stock wound up pulling back all the way down to the 213.75 level. You look at it today, it's up nicely this morning, up almost 1% again. So it was not a great pick, but there was some money to be made in Amgen on Friday, just not as much as we normally make.
Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk with Traders. You know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.